Hi, I'm Dane Hoppy with Pet Techniques. Welcome to the Board and Train experience. In case you're brand new to our world, we believe in lifestyle training because there's nothing more valuable than learning how to properly live and communicate with your dog. When training, we use a yes and no approach to help dogs understand the world and their behaviors. We believe that leadership, structure, and clarity are the most important pieces to living a happy life with your dog. Because what we do doesn't need to be fancy, it needs to be practical. We blend traditional behavior training with our unique lifestyle approach to help owners be their dog's best leader, which results in healthier relationships and more fulfilling lives. Communication is key in every relationship, and that includes the ones we have with our dogs. To help bridge the gap, we use tools like prong collars and remote collars to speak in a familiar and mutual language. Our approach, specifically our Board and Train, is like nothing you've seen before. We tailor this program to suit every individual dog. Every day and every week is laid out to achieve real results and ensure every dog goes home the best version of themselves. We keep our volume low so that every dog gets ample time and attention during their stay. Our boutique-style environment best emulates a family home so that the behaviors and routine we implement carries over to how they'll live at home. We truly love what we do, and we love connecting with new dogs and new humans. So if you're interested in working with us, take a look at some of the details of our highly recognized program. The reality is there's only so much you can accomplish during an hour-long lesson or group class with a trainer. And unfortunately, those skills often don't translate to the real world. Why? Because dog training isn't actually about the training itself. It's how you apply it to fit your lifestyle. And that's something that's really hard to achieve in a formal setting. Sending your dog to a Board and Train can be the perfect opportunity to hit that reset button and to help your dog learn healthier behaviors and to break unwanted ones. It's too often that our dogs develop certain perceptions about the home environment that eventually become somewhat toxic. So introducing a new routine, a new style of communication, and a new outlook might be exactly what's needed. The program itself covers all things behavior related: leash manners, on and off leash obedience, household manners, impulse control, and leadership. It's the ultimate good dog package that gets you and your dog set up for life. Our Board and Train isn't just a multi-week experience for your dog, it's a lifelong investment for the entire family. It's to ensure you get as much attention and support along the way so that you become the leader your dog needs. Program lengths are determined by the information you provide, your dog's behavioral struggles, and how we can help you meet your training goals. The more severe the behaviors, the longer the dog stays with us, just to ensure we've worked through as many obstacles as possible. This isn't your average dog training experience. Dogs are required to be crate trained prior to this program because of the fact that they'll be sleeping in one during their stay. But more importantly, it's the most beneficial and practical tool for structure and management while at home. If you can't directly supervise your dog, if you have to leave the house, or if you have guests coming over, your dog should be in the safest enclosure possible. Dogs learn how to stay calm in the crate while coming in and out politely. So needless to say, crate training is a big part of their program. It's fair to say we all want dogs that are well behaved in the house, which is why we call ourselves lifestyle trainers. Our job is to help dogs learn how to live calmly and confidently. So you'll often see us training dogs in real world situations. How to behave when someone rings the doorbell, what their job is when you're cooking dinner or spending time with family. This is where you really start to see the benefits and importance of household boundaries. Not only are we helping our dogs practice impulse control, calmness, and independence, we're using specific commands in a way that allows us to include them more in our daily routine. All because they more clearly understand the boundaries we've set in place. And dogs need boundaries, rules, and structure in order to feel secure. Leadership is an essential piece to this process because the goal is for our dogs to respond consistently and confidently, not only with the trainer, but with their owners. Leadership exercises help dogs understand that owners are looking out for them and providing those necessary guidelines for healthy living. Specifically, waiting at doorways, waiting at the crate, and waiting for food are small but important moments where we can have meaningful conversations with our dogs. They're a sign of respect politeness, and patience. Tools are a huge part of this program because it's how we're consistently communicating with our dogs. Think of prong collars and remote collars as language tools. We're speaking to them in a language that's clear and understandable. Tools will also help maintain control and accountability. And yes, the tools are forever because the training's forever. There's definitely a learning curve to the mechanics and the timing of the tools, so the more you use them, the more confident you'll be. All dogs go home on properly fitted prong collars and remote collars. If you'd like to learn more about these tools and how we use them, check out our prong collar and remote collar videos on YouTube. Let's not forget about the traditional part of this program, obedience. You'll see plenty of obedience training, but not for the showiness, rather how we're using obedience to help cultivate the proper mindset. Our obedience training is still heavily focused on calmness and compliance, which is why you don't often see us training with food. We like to work with the real dog, not just an overexcited, eager to eat dog. We keep the list of commands simple, so when it's time to bring the owners back into the mix, they have a set vocabulary that they'll use every day. Aside from the foundational pieces, we make sure to customize our program to benefit every individual dog. So if your dog is struggling with more specific behaviors like jumping, reactivity, resource guarding, and so on, we'll be sure to spend ample time in those areas to ensure your dog improves. We like our days to emulate a normal day at home, so each dog gets about 1 to 2 structured walks and a lifestyle session, consisting of obedience training in a home-like setting, sprinkled in with some duration work or crate time to continue working on impulse control, calmness, and independence. This is where we help you develop a healthier and more productive routine and relationship with your dog. Because the reality is, dogs come here with already established perceptions of their home environment, their owners, their boundaries, and what they think is allowed. So it's especially important that what you do after the program builds off the foundation we've laid. The work must continue once the dog returns home. This is something we take very seriously because we want you and your dog to be successful long term. You'll see us talk a lot about structure. Now, don't let that word scare you. Structure doesn't mean your dog is going home on a strict, no fun routine. Structure just means help. It means guidance and it means clarity. A dog without structure is a dog without rules. And we all know that rules help humans and dogs succeed. What we suggest to every dog and family isn't based on how ill-behaved the dog is. Our recommendations are actually very intentional. So if our discussions are based on less affection, less free roam, maybe more crate time and structure, it's because we believe that those lifestyle changes will truly help you and your dog. After we secure your dog slot, we send home detailed prep work so you can get started right away. This gives owners and their dogs an idea of what life will look like after the program. We like to hit the ground running with training dogs, so the more prepared you and your dog are, the more ground we'll be able to cover. Hint, start crate training your dog right away. We want you and your dog to succeed for years to come, which is why the training can and should be used on a daily basis. Our go-home process is very intentional and deliberate so that you feel fully prepared to reunite with your dog. We break it up into 3 parts. During their stay, owners are encouraged to follow along on social media to see their dog in action. It's a great way to learn alongside them so that by the time you're back in the mix, you've got a really solid idea of the tools we're using and the commands they're learning, as well as the lifestyle adjustments. You'll also receive our custom-designed training manual for you to reference at any point during life with your dog. Before the official reunion, we'll have a virtual lesson, and this typically covers tool mechanics, lifestyle adjustments, and routine tips. Oftentimes we spend this lesson talking about how to fit your dog back into your life. And with that typically comes conversations about your daily routine and how we can strengthen your relationship. Dogs have strong perceptions about their home life, so following through with what we suggest will determine how well behaved they are when they're home. All the more reason to lean into the training that they've been successful with. The last official lesson takes place in person. This is the first time you're back with your dog, so we tend to talk about relationship dynamics and believability. The structured walk is what we focus on most during the first part of the lesson because it's a valuable opportunity to work on relationship building and training. It's also the first time most owners will get their hands on the new tools. The back half of the lesson is spent working on interior work. All the on and off leash obedience, the stationary commands, crating, and anything else we feel would be important to cover during our time together. The goal for this last lesson is to ensure every owner feels confident and empowered enough to take this training back home. We're here to support you so that living with your dog can always be enjoyable. So if you're ready to take the leap, we're ready to start training.